Divine creation sequence. Before diving into human history, Tabari investigates the fundamental questions of cosmic creation. How did the eternal Creator bring forth temporal existence? What was the sequence of creation? These aren't just abstract theological puzzles. They establish the framework for understanding everything that follows. Let's start with a crucial insight: time itself is a creation. Since time consists of the hours of night and day, and these result from the motion of the sun and moon through celestial spheres, time must have been originated. This leads to a fascinating theological question: did God create other things before establishing time itself? The most detailed tradition about creation sequence comes through Ibn Abbas, recounting a dialogue between the Prophet Muhammad and Jewish questioners. According to this account, God created the earth on Sunday and Monday. On Tuesday, he established mountains and their beneficial uses. Wednesday saw the creation of trees, water, cities, and both cultivated and barren lands. This completed the earth's preparation in 4 days, matching the Quranic verse that says God created the earth in 2 days and then set up its mountains and provisions in 4 days total. Thursday marked heaven's creation, while Friday brought forth stars, sun, moon, and angels. The final 3 hours of Friday hold particular significance. In the first hour, God determined human lifespans and mortality. In the second, he introduced the challenges and difficulties that would test humanity. In the third, he created Adam, commanded Iblis to prostrate, and subsequently expelled Adam from paradise. This tradition also reveals an important theological controversy. When the Jewish questioners suggested that God rested after creation, the prophet became angry. This prompted the revelation stating that God created the heavens and earth in 6 days and that fatigue did not touch him. This exchange establishes a crucial Islamic principle: divine creation involves no exhaustion or need for recuperation. God is fundamentally different from anthropomorphic conceptions of deity. There's also an alternative creation chronology transmitted through Abu Huraira. In this version, soil was created on Saturday, mountains on Sunday, trees on Monday, evil on Tuesday, light on Wednesday, animal distribution on Thursday, and Adam's creation during Friday's afternoon prayer period. This variation demonstrates how different transmission chains can preserve authentic prophetic teachings while offering complementary perspectives on the same cosmic events. Now, Tabari also presents a sophisticated philosophical argument for God's eternality based on the composition and separation of physical bodies. Think about it this way: everything observable exists either as a body or as something subsisting within a body. All bodies can be imagined as either separate or connected, and both conditions involve change. Separate things can be joined. Connected things can be divided. Since anything capable of change must have undergone origination, because change implies a prior state of non-existence of the new condition, everything in the observable world requires an originator. But this originator cannot be subject to composition or separation, as such characteristics would make it dependent on a further originator. Therefore, the Creator must be uncomposed, eternal, and fundamentally different from creation. The Quranic principle that everyone on earth is annihilated but the face of your Lord remains establishes that all temporal existence, including night and day, will ultimately perish while only God's essence endures. This cosmic conclusion, when the sun shall be rolled up and its light extinguished, represents universal consensus among monotheistic traditions. Muslims, Jews, Christians, and Zoroastrians all acknowledge creation's ultimate temporality. What was the first thing God created? Through systematic examination of competing traditions, Tabari establishes that the pen was the first created entity. This determination emerges from prophetic declarations like the first thing God created was the pen, and God created the pen and commanded it to write. The pen's primacy reflects its function in recording divine decrees and establishing the framework within which subsequent creation unfolds. Before any physical creation, God's throne existed upon water. This mysterious state preceded the establishment of earth and heaven. It addresses the theological question of divine location before spatial creation, suggesting that divine sovereignty manifested through the throne's establishment over primordial waters. The water itself represents the foundational element from which organized creation would emerge. The creation sequence proceeds through carefully ordered stages. First the pen recording divine decrees, then the throne establishing divine sovereignty, followed by the systematic construction of earth and heaven across the six-day framework. Each stage builds upon previous foundations, demonstrating divine wisdom in organizing creation according to hierarchical principles rather than simultaneous manifestation. A crucial interpretive question involves understanding these days before the sun and moon existed to define earthly time periods. Tabari resolves this through prophetic traditions indicating that divine days equal 1,000 earthly years, making the 6 creation days equivalent to 6,000 years. This extended timeframe allows for the gradual development described in various traditions while maintaining the 6-day structure revealed in the Quran. The gradual nature of creation does not indicate limitations in divine power. God could have created everything instantaneously through the command be. Instead, the temporal sequence demonstrates divine wisdom in establishing patterns and relationships that would govern subsequent cosmic operations. The 6-day framework provides a template for understanding divine action as both immediate in power and deliberate in wisdom. The detailed creation accounts serve educational purposes for human understanding rather than describing divine necessity. By presenting creation through temporal sequences familiar to human experience, these narratives make divine activity comprehensible while avoiding anthropomorphic implications about divine limitations or needs. Tabari's approach demonstrates sophisticated hermeneutical methodology. He systematically compares multiple transmission chains, evaluates variant details, and synthesizes authentic traditions into coherent theological positions. Rather than simply choosing between competing accounts, he identifies their complementary perspectives on the same divine activities. The integration of philosophical argumentation with prophetic traditions illustrates classical Islamic scholarly methodology. Rational proofs establish possibilities and necessities, while revealed sources provide specific details about divine activities that exceed human observational capacity. Neither source of knowledge contradicts the other when properly understood. Through this careful analysis of creation's temporal sequence and eternal foundations, Tabari establishes the cosmological framework within which all his subsequent historical narratives will unfold. Political events and prophetic missions can only be properly understood within their metaphysical context. The cosmos itself provides the stage on which human history will play out according to divine wisdom.